Looks very brambly indeed today. Because I went to find a little geocache. Does this bridge have a floor? No, it does not. It's Waterfowl Tuesday. I will right now go and try to cross the entire city of Stuttgart without using a single road. Am I in the wrong place is the question. I seem to have a little unexpected problem. Right there, down in the path I want to take, there's a couple of people in high-vis vests. One of my fingers is bleeding a bit. And I think our target is right there. That green door in that hedge, which hopefully is open. As it happens, the door is locked, which I'm actually fine with, if that means that there's no people in any of the inner allotments. That would be quite convenient. I'll just have to make my way over. Let's see if that works. Made it through. Isn't that beautiful here? There are in fact no people at all, which is terribly fortunate. So we want to go through there and over there. Oh, I actually didn't record that. I just very speedily made my way through there, through these allotments and over here. And I have a point marked on my map, and that point marked on the map is one where I can get through the hedges and fences on the other side, which I'll now have to look at. For the amount of rain, this is a shockingly dry creek bed. Just need to get up the other side, which may be a bit slippy. But, shit. I'll need both hands for this. Okay, that was quite slippy and my hands are dirty now, but I have made it over here. And no one seems to be in, which is good. Was that my breach? Looks very brambly indeed today. Let's see what we can do. I was supposed to come through like here, but the brambles being out in full swing and everything made it just easier to just climb over that fence there. That was fairly trivial. Now to my left here there is kind of an adventure park. Apparently some kids group has booked in there, so we won't be going through there. We're going to the slightly less mission appropriate little sideway here, which cars sometimes pass through, but they're not allowed to unless they have like some special permission or business here. But yeah, that is this park. They have like a high rope garden thingy and a big playing field and climbing walls and everything. And I hope the kids are having fun. We have regained the vineyards. I will have to continue that way to the right, but I will for a quick second go the other way. Also, it's almost time for my lunch break, so I'll see if I find a little bench to sit down. The sun has mercifully gone behind some clouds, which I don't think will, at the end of the day, prevent the sunburn I'm almost certainly going to have on some parts of my body. It's certainly much warmer than I would have anticipated, and yeah, I'm glad I'm wearing shorts. I've seen quite some animals today. I don't think I could get any of them on camera or many of them, but I saw some hares, like big rabbits, when I was walking in Convestheim at the starting point. Plus, of course, a ton of birds. There was a kite. I saw like a little brown speckled butterfly that I don't think you see every day. And of course, like what you usually see, there's a dragonfly right now, and there's a whole bunch of critters that you will see, and of course lizards on all the like sun warmed stone walls. So yeah, it's worth it also as a nature walk. Okay, so the reason I went here is because I went to find a little geocache. If you don't know what a geocache is, they're kind of little treasures that people hide around the place, and then you can like put on a map where it is to be found, and some hints on how to find it, and then other people can find it, like me just now, and enter their name in this little book here, and when they found it, and then you can put it back for the next person to find. There's no prizes or anything, it's just for the fun of it. And I kind of wanted to integrate that into our little walk together here. Okay, now I entered my name, now I'm gonna hide it again. Not telling you where to find it, you can figure that out yourself if you ever come by this place in the middle of the vineyards with this wonderful view down there. So I'm gonna hide it, you can come here and find it. It's on the map if you download the official geocaching app, and you can, and there's some that you have to like pay to see, but this one is also one of the free ones. Okay, the heat is now kicking, but I did promise you a description of the view. So down there we have the Pragsattel with that Porsche design tower, which I believe is the tallest building in all of Stuttgart, if I'm not mistaken. And then down there, where we have this little hill fort, that's the Leipziger Garten. We will pass through there. And then as you go to the right, you go further down the Neckar Valley. So the big, cylindrical thing is the Gaskessel in Stuttgart Ost in Geisburg. Presumably used to store gas at some point. And then to the left you can see the stadium, which is already on the other side of the Neckar. You can see the Neckar flowing there in between. Everything kind of on the left hand side of the Neckar, especially inside the bend, is Stuttgart Bad Cannstatt, the oldest part of Stuttgart, founded by the Romans, and they're kind of mad that they only count as part of Stuttgart, not the other way around. Whereas on the other side is Stuttgart Ost, and then going there into the city center down in that valley. So all of that you will see on the second day of this trip. On the ridges over there you can see the Fernmeldeturm and probably Stuttgart's most famous landmark, the Stuttgart TV tower, the Fernsehturm, which, stay tuned. Right below me, you will see it soon from a better perspective, is this long white building. This used to be the old Robert Bosch Hospital. We saw the other one is like up there, up there behind us. We passed that, and this is where the Robert Bosch Hospital used to be, and now it's the police. And yeah, I'm looking for a spot for a lunch break, but that's kind of hard to find shade. The sun is kind of beating down on me, so maybe I'll walk down to Pragsattel first, and then there do a little recap of first part of this day. Here you can see the former Robert Bosch Hospital, now police, in all its long white glory. And obviously the large green space next to the track of the Hauptbahnhof, all of this, mostly this part, is the Rosenstein Park, which not only houses Stuttgart's zoo, the Wilhelma, but which is very convenient for a mission like this because it provides, together with the Schlossgarten, which goes along the other side of the tracks, it provides basically a continuous band of parks, a continuous way of getting into the city center just through the parks, which is extremely convenient. We will want to get down in the most direct way possible, so once again you will have to see footage of me walking straight down some vineyards under the eyes of the trusted Stuttgart police. Not trusted. So, through this path, which is not a road, this will be our biggest road crossing yet, obviously. The B27, I think it is, the Bundesstraße, is one of the main traffic arteries going to the city, and obviously commonly affected by traffic. Just because we haven't done so yet, we'll actually go through down the U-Bahn station. Just so we have an additional type of non-road that we have used in our travels. Now we're due in the park, and from here it will be an almost continuous park experience till we're in the middle of the city. But now I'm getting really hungry. It is lunch break time, as soon as I find a lovely little spot below a tree to do so. Footbridge time! We're now in the Leibfriedische Garten. I don't know who Mr. or Mrs. Leibfried was who founded these, but this is the bastion we saw from above earlier. And we've just seen it's connected to the Parkshuttle little park thing by footbridge, and it also is also connected down to Rosenstein Park. But now it is picnic time. I have found this lovely little shady spot here, so we will recap the first half of the day here. Okay, so until now I have been walking for like 2 hours 45, and I've walked like 9.2 kilometers, which is like 3.4 something kilometers per hour on average, which is fine. Obviously not fast, but we also did some adventurous things. We had to sometimes wait a little, scout a little to see if that there's no people watching me doing weird things, or that the path is clear. Now it is lunchtime. I have from Trölsch I got a Laugenzopf thingy, and I've got a little circle, which I think they call a Dinkelkringel, and then I also have like a chocolate croissant thingy, pain au chocolat, for later, and there's also like a banana somewhere in my backpack. So that will be my lunch, and I will see you when we are moving again. Okay, I have finished my lunch, and before we continue, I of course have to get myself up here to the bastion just to enjoy the view. We are absolutely, this is not about fast completion. We are not beyond unnecessary detours on this channel. And we will look at a different secret landmark in a moment that I'm a big fan of, but first we are up here. And here on these you should be able to see all the things that you can see in the distance, but unfortunately, as you see, they have been artistically improved. So you just have to believe me when I say that that's the city center, that's not Bahnhof, and so on. Isn't it just nice? Look, I don't know if those are supposed to be stairs, but they are aggressively useless at being that. As you can see, they slope quite substantially. And we're now on our way to that strange thing over there that you might have seen earlier. Because these are some ruins. They are labeled as the ruins of the Villa Moser. I'm not quite sure what their backstory is, but it is like a popular urban exploring spot. You can see there's some local youths chilling beyond this bridge. Just if you're wondering, does this bridge have a floor? No, it does not. I will save the time, not go in there right now, but it is a cool spot if you want to do some urban exploring, check out some abandoned places in Stuttgart. But we are now heading down the other way towards the Rosenstein Park. Oh look, it's the Louvre. I didn't even know that thing was here. I didn't actually walk this part yet. I just know this path exists. Now we're heading over a bridge, which apparently is named Lodzer Steg, named after Stuttgart's Polish partner city or twin city of Łódź. And we see there the Löwenstor, the lion gate for the Rosenstein Park with a little lion, or a big lion statue on top. We are now heading down into Rosenstein Park. This was the non-road connection between the parks that I was talking about. And once we're down there, we will go past some museums. I don't think we'll pass directly next to the Wilhelma, Stuttgart Zoo. But there will be sights to see. So we are now passing Stuttgart's Natural History Museum, the Museum am Löwentor. I'm not supposed to walk on the grass here in the park because it's getting used as animal food for the Wilhelma, I think. And if you look at the reflection here of the mirror, you can already see an image of two prehistoric elephant relatives fighting, duking it out. It's a very good museum. It's like free to get in on Wednesdays. There you can see our prehistoric, what are they called? Can't remember the scientific term for it. I'm calling it a dinosaur museum, although of course being responsible for Baden-Württemberg, the issue is we don't have a ton of dinosaurs in Baden-Württemberg. The reason for that is that during the main time of the dinosaurs, during the Jurassic and Cretaceous periods, most of Baden-Württemberg was underwater. So we have some really cool like marine fossils of like marine crocodiles, ichthyosaurs, plesiosaurs, all that jazz. But just our dinosaurs the dinosaurs we have are from the earlier time of the dinosaurs, the Triassic, where we have in fact some very cool ones. Most importantly, the one that you will see most prominently featured inside is Plateosaurus trossingensis. Trossingen is also a place in Baden-Württemberg, which was one of the biggest dinosaurs that the Triassic had. I believe it was like an ancestor to the sauropods, or at least an earlier cousin, you know, the big long-necked gigantic herbivorous dinosaurs. I will take any opportunity to yap about dinosaurs that I can get. But yeah, go there, it's definitely worth a visit. And here on the other is one of the coolest, in my opinion, playgrounds that we have in all of Stuttgart. It's quite new, and it is like in the shape of a dinosaur. Like you have on the right, you have the head of the dinosaur is like there. I don't know what perspective you see it best from. And then you have the big body, the tail at the end, and I guess the big slides as the legs. Probably the favorite playground we have in all of Stuttgart, although I guess I'm not the target demographic, so maybe my opinion is not too relevant. This stretch has been quite literally a walk in the park. I've just been walking through this park for a couple of minutes. And now I'm kind of almost reached the other end, and I already told you about the Museum of Natural History, that's back there, but the Naturkundemuseum Stuttgart consists in fact of two parts. It has the extinct creatures back there, the natural history part, and the current, like everything that's still alive, just the biology, nature museum, is right here behind me in that castle called Schloss Rosenstein. It was built, I think, by the Baden-Württemberg royals, back when we still had those. And this houses some very nice like dioramas. A lot of it is quite old, some of it has been renewed, but it's definitely worth a visit. You can get just a combination ticket for the two parts of the Naturkundemuseum. And there's also a nice little rose garden beside it that we will check out. I think this back when this is originated, the entire Natural History Museum out of the like royal fossil collection, where I think some like great grand uncle of mine or something was the director of. I don't know if there's many. The roses do not seem to be in bloom, most of them. I guess there's a few. They're good. Okay, but this is not the direction we have to go. We have to go, in fact, over that way, I think. I will double check. But yes, down there is like the U-Bahn for Mineralbäder, where there's like Stuttgart's famous thermal baths, like where the mineral water comes out of the ground. And I think that kind of directly connects to the Schlossgarten, which is the long thin green park that goes parallel to the Hauptbahnhof train tracks straight into the heart of the city, which is where we are trying to go. I've just taken a little break down here after coming down from Schloss Rosenstein up there, and I want to talk a bit about the parks of Stuttgart and why we have so nicely connected parks all throughout the city that I keep using here. And a lot of the reason for that is different garden exhibitions. The Bundesgartenschauen, like federal gardening exhibition, is a thing that kind of rotates through keeps happening in different cities, and where cities like do big elaborate gardening or landscaping projects for. And Stuttgart had like several, notably in like 1939 when they like created the Killersberg Park, which is a very nice park, which was also continually changed and improved in subsequent exhibitions. That one in 61, where like a lot of the Schlossgarten got like shaped. That one 1977, which these little hats, these little bunker-looking thingies come from, and I think most people never knew what they were actually for, but they were actually like fountains. There were like water fountains that are like kind of bubbling to represent Stuttgart's mineral water, but they've been off for a long time. Like I've never actually seen them bubble. But also most of the bridges that connect the different parks, like those that we've used earlier to get from like the Leipziger Garten, that's also a Bundesgartenschau thing, to connect up to the vineyards and over to Rosenstein Park, and we will use further that connect like the Schlossgarten over the streets that cross it. All of those were like created and built in different for the different garden exhibitions. So a lot of what Stuttgart has to offer in terms of park space, in terms of like the connectedness of the parks and the nice design of the park, goes back to that. Oh look, they have little chicks. Aren't they cute? Okay, but I'm going to head to this bar here, Fauna and Flora, because maybe I can refill my water bottle there, which is running kind of low, and we have a lot of Schlossgarten in front of us. Okay, we are back out, the sun is shining. I was able to refill my bottle, and was also able to wash my hands, which I was still a bit dirty from all the incline climbing and fence jumping that I was partaking in earlier. And now we're heading along the long Schlossgarten, and just look at how nice these plants look. It looks even better in person than on camera, I assure you. Don't ask me what these long fishing rods are for, I think they're just art. It's Waterfowl Tuesday, there is a heron who isn't looking my way. Nile geese and normal geese. There's the Nile geese. And another heron sitting on the blue tent. And there's a swan. And there's also a coot that you probably can't see. And we already saw the ones with little chicks, which I don't know what they're called in English. Like that one that's currently swimming there. And there's also regular grey geese, making for, I didn't keep count, like at least 6 species of waterfowl in 5 minutes. That's what you get when you take good care of your parks. Look, there's so many babies. So many babies. Okay, I've skipped over a lot of park walking now. What we've just been walking along is the lower Schlossgarten, the Untere Schlossgarten, which is the longest part. And now we're about to cross into the Mittlere Schlossgarten, and then finally into the Obere Schlossgarten, which is the one that's actually in the city center. We've also now approximately passed our halfway point. I don't exactly know where it is because my line is only approximate. This kind of area is, I don't know, it's a great spot to hang out. I'm sometimes here with my friends. And it has like this little roundel surrounded by rose bushes and all that. Another park connecting bridge here. That there is Stuttgart and Stuttgart Ost, and over there is the big white building. There is the Milaneo, Stuttgart's biggest shopping center, and in that area is also the Stuttgart Public Library, one of my favorite buildings in the city. In fact, I've been there as recently as yesterday. Those trees you see here all around me that are planted here, these are plane trees, or maybe you can also call them sycamore trees. So not unlike an airport, this park is completely full of planes. But that's the case for many cities, because those trees are actually excellent city trees. They are fairly resistant to heat, and also you've seen how their bark kind of can peel off, and that is especially earlier when cities were like completely polluted. That was helpful for all that the pollutants wouldn't all stay in the bark as with a normal tree, but you know, the bark could just peel off and all the pollutants, all the grime that was in the air would just come off with it, which means that plane trees have become a staple of like many urban architectures. So that was my biology excursion. I'm trying not to get run over by cyclists here. This is a also kind of a bridge thingy that I'm walking on right now, which is also just here because of the Hauptbahnhof construction. There is, you know, if you ever had to change a Stuttgart Hauptbahnhof from S-Bahn or U-Bahn to the regional or long distance trains, there is quite a lot of walking over tunnels, bridges, all that jazz. But if you walk along here, you can take a good look at all the construction going on. You can see the old Hauptbahnhof in the back there. The big building constructed by Karl Bonatz, I think finished in 1918. And then here you can see these glass ceiling elements, the Lichtaugen, which are like one of the defining features of the new Hauptbahnhof, which will be like right below here. This is where the trains will go. And then on the other side, the fancy entrance dome, and right next to the planetarium. But they assure us that the trains will go faster, will be better once the new Hauptbahnhof is in action. And also all the upper part where there's tracks now, that what we saw from above, I mean that's a huge area, and once the old Hauptbahnhof is gone, everything's underground, those tracks, that's the plan, should all be torn out, and a new neighborhood shall be built there. But that is definitely still years out that anything will be happening there of that sort. Then she just walked on the cycling path. This way is just for bicycles. I should have gone that way or come from that way. Now we're here on another bridge connecting parks over a road as we're crossing from the Mittlerer Schlossgarten into the Oberer Schlossgarten. The kind of Stuttgart must-see sites are just going to begin to pile up. Okay, we're now back in the Schlossgarten, in the Oberer Schlossgarten. Behind us are like the first like sites. This is the theater. It says "Komm weiter," I don't know why. And back there is the opera. The Stuttgart State Theaters, which is this opera with the ballet and the theater, are like the biggest theater house that has all three, the theater, the ballet and the opera, in all of Europe. So it is kind of important, but unfortunately this old opera building is in desperate need of renovation, and that will cost like $1 bajillion that the taxpayer has to pay for. They have to build like an entire interim playing area where they will do the opera in the meantime while this is renovated, and it's all going to be very, very expensive. And now, as we are in front of the big fountain, in front of the opera, with all the statues on its roof over there, we already see behind us the thing that the Schlossgarten, and also the Schlossplatz, is named after Stuttgart's Neues Schloss, the new castle. It is one of a few one of the few big Baroque pretty castles that the Dukes of Württemberg built in like the 1700s. Which among them, this is this one in Stuttgart, the new castle, and the nice one in Ludwigsburg. And then they also built Castle Hohenheim, which is in like the southwest of Stuttgart. And I think that's the main ones. And also Castle Solitude, which is also in Stuttgart. But yeah, this was the place from which Württemberg was run for quite some time, which Stuttgart was city of residence of the monarchs, first dukes, then kings. But obviously the more democratic part, the People's Assembly, is that black building over there is Baden-Württemberg State Parliament, the Landtag, which I have been in there. It's nice, good Parliament building. Here we see what the opera is doing. They're doing Sancta again. Oh my god, I want to see that one. That one's crazy. And so as we continue, we are now kind of getting out of the last of the Schlossgarten, which has accompanied us for quite a while, and we are getting into the inner city. The inner city luckily is completely pedestrianized, so my no roads mission is kind of still very easy there. And again, we will pass quite some Stuttgart sites that I can tell you about. I mean, I don't know, if you're interested in just like how do you cross a city without using roads, you might be kind of getting bored by all my background info dumping. But I guess you know what a fast forward button is. I will see you probably on Schlossplatz. They have a Baden-Württemberg State Coat of Arms themed like insect hotel. That's cool. From the Ministry of Finance. Okay, we're now on Schlossplatz. If you've ever been to Stuttgart, you've been here. This is the central square of all of Stuttgart. Here behind us again, the Neues Schloss, the new castle. And I was correct, it was built in the 1700s by Duke Karl Eugen. That's the building back there is the Königsbau, which is now a shopping center. And we have the big monument for, I think, King Wilhelm of Württemberg. A fountain back there. That tower is of the Catholic Cathedral of Stuttgart, which is fairly unassuming for a cathedral. You would absolutely miss it if you just walked by there. And here that is, I think, some art-related building, also with a little stag on top. The other major art-related building you can't quite see right now is behind there, the big glass cube that houses Stuttgart's Museum for Contemporary Art. Now this has a little stag on there, and also the castle here is guarded. The entrance is guarded by two animals. They see over here a stag and a lion. So what's going on with these animals? Well, if you look at the coat of arms of Baden-Württemberg, as we just saw on the insect hotel, you'll see that it has 3 lions as it's on the coat of arms. That comes from the coat of arms of Swabia, not of Württemberg itself. The actual royals of Württemberg had the hart, as in the stag, the big deer with the antlers, as their coat of arms animal, and whenever you see one of those in Stuttgart, that tells you that it was probably during the rule of the House of Württemberg up there and over there. Currently, if you see the coat of arms of Baden-Württemberg in like any official capacity, you will see it like held up on both sides. On one side by a stag, which, as we've learned, represents Württemberg, and a griffin for Baden. None of these animals you're very likely to see walking around in Stuttgart, especially not griffins. But if you see animals used symbolically in coats of arms or something, that's kind of where they come from. Okay, my phone is now on like 20% battery. So in fact, in the question what gives up first, my legs or my phone, the answer is, of course, is this time the technology, although my feet do hurt a fair bit. And since we are over halfway, I will end the day for today up there with inside one last historic building. The old castle, this Alte Schloss, which is literally a medieval castle built on top of an even older medieval castle with like thick stone walls. But it has a wonderful inner courtyard with these galleries, and you see it's like full of people, vibrant, full of life. It has the chapel, and it has a very nice cafe inside the main castle hall. The main entrance hall of the castle called the Durnitz, which is also what the cafe here is called. It's a wonderful place to like also sit down if you want to study some. You don't need to like pay for admission to the museum to get in here, and you don't even need to like buy anything to eat or drink to be allowed in here. So inside the donuts, inside the medieval walls of the Altes Schloss is where I will leave you for today. And this is also where we will start our second day of Stuttgarter roads, where we will, in all likelihood, be able to finish the challenge for good. Just as a little add-on, I've just checked the GPS logging, and today I have covered like 15.2 kilometers, and I've been walking for like 4 hours 10 in total, including the smaller breaks. And that's, I think, pretty good. I think we'll easily finish this on the second day. The unfortunate part is, due to Stuttgart being like in a valley in the castle, means that my general trajectory today has been downwards into the city, which means that everything I walk downhill today, I will have to walk uphill tomorrow, and it will be quite a lot of uphill, as you will see. With that, I leave you for today, and see you for day 2. Okay, bad news guys, this construction does really completely block my path. Maybe we'll just have to take the compromise and walk along this street. I hope I'm going the right direction. What?